from IWDTO. I met TeLisa a few years ago when she was organizing a S.T.E.A.M conference. I didn't expect that in the middle of organizing and executing an entire conference, TeLisa would recognize my face and remember my name and everyone else's in attendance before we had even met in real life. Since then, I have seen TeLisa create so many spaces where women, especially those who are often forgotten, are recognized and welcomed. TeLisa is real as they come, a creator, connector, artist, encourager, friend, loving partner, hip-hop queen, and quintessential FlyTechnista. Come on up.
All right. Trying to hold back my thug tears because I was not expecting any of that. All right. Is this clicky thingy working? Thingy, click, click. Oh, yeah. All right. Yay. Right? I'm ruling from the Iron Throne. With compassion, though. So, yeah, my name is TeLisa. I am the founder of FlyTechnista, and, geez, just life. So much things. All right. So I am a multidisciplined creative, a designer, a developer, a serial and social entrepreneur. I am a classically trained visual artist. I've been coding since 1998. I probably know more than 20 programming languages, and I've made more than 300 digital products, websites, apps. And I've successfully launched 5 businesses, 2 startups, and 3 generated revenue, and 2 failed horribly. I participated in 4 accelerator programs, and I won 4 awards. Never thought. That's what I do. This is really my title. No. So I'm just going to go back because, one, I feel so honored to be here. One, getting to Toronto, the last time I've been here, SARS was here. So that's how long ago it was. And then secondly, at first I was trying to figure out, what am I going to talk about? I don't want to talk about coding stuff. I don't want to talk about hardships. I don't want to talk about sexual harassment. I don't want to, what can I talk about? So I pretty much wanted to merge, Huda had her discussion around inflection. And this is pretty much that. There was a lot of things in my life that helped me get to where I am. So I feel extremely humbled to be here because I'm the first in my family to have a professional career and to be college educated and 5 generations on both sides. So that's it's really real to be here and to been through everything that I've been through. So yeah, I slay patriarchy. Yeah. So when I decided to start FlyTechnista, I knew that I am a founder and a woman of color, and I've experienced so much discrimination as intersectionality. I have no idea if it's because I got boobs or if it's because I'm black. So I was just trying to figure out, man, how can I win ever? I was born into this. So yeah, that's what I do. I hustle hope for future FlyTechnistas. That's my niece right there. Love her. And she wants to be many things. She loves science stuff. So she is now no longer this little girl. She's actually 4, and she always wants to play on my laptop and mix up stuff and break things, and yeah. And I don't wear glass slippers. I roundhouse kick glass ceilings. That's what I do. So, but how did I get here? Like I said, I was born and raised in the heart of Boston, raised by a single mom. I'm the oldest of 3. My mom was very hardworking. And I just remember looking at my mom. She had 5 jobs just to make ends meet. And I just remember as a little girl saying to myself, I'm probably 5 here. And I remember just thinking when I was 6, I never want to work 5 jobs, ever. I want to have 1 job that pays me all the money, and I don't want to work 5 jobs. And pretty much that was a changing point in my life, seeing my mom just provide so hard for us, for my brothers, for myself. And her whole hopes was that I could just graduate high school. She didn't even care about college. She just was graduate high school, because that was a huge accomplishment for her, being that she didn't have the opportunity to do that. And no, she was not a young mother, but it was just the fact that her mother didn't instill in her to pursue a career. Her mother pursued in her, get a job, work, earn, buy stuff, buy property. Like, it wasn't anything about having a career. So, at 6 years old, I told my mom that I wanted to be a breakdancing astronaut DJ. And she told me that I could. And, like, seriously, I would just say that message right there. Like, she didn't say it was going to be easy. She didn't say, like, she asked me, oh, how do you plan to do this? And I have no idea. Like, I'm 6 years old, but my strategy was legit. I was like, well, I'm going to learn how to dance first, and then I'm going to make my own astronaut suit, and then I'm going to, like, you know, I had all of these ideas, but, like, the fact that she didn't discourage me is why I'm here right now, why I'm standing here right now, why I'm in Toronto right now, why I have everything that I have in my life, because of this one moment when she didn't discourage me. She could have said, you know, little girl, like, just shut up and sit down somewhere, but she didn't. So I have this thing called philosophies. It's things that I learned throughout my life, and I just share it. So, said no one ever. People believed in me too much and gave me too much encouragement. So, because she didn't discourage me, that gave me the confidence and the hope to pursue every single thing that I did after that. Every single thing. Whether it be learning to dance or really being a DJ or whatever it was that I wanted to do, I just had so much confidence that I could do it. Really old school picture. So yeah, after figuring out my strategy about, like, okay, I'm going to be a breakdancing astronaut DJ. I should probably learn how to dance better first. And then I was enrolled in a dance school where I studied tap, jazz, gymnastics, ballet, all of these things. And then shortly after, I just had so much luck in my life. I was offered the opportunity to dance with the prestigious Boston Ballet and the Boston Ballet School from a little girl. So I danced with them all the way until I was in 8th grade, which afforded me the opportunity to enrolling in Boston's first visual and performance arts high school, the Boston Arts Academy. So fast forward, I keep hearing so many people, specifically women in technology, talk about 1998. And I don't know if at first I thought that was just my lucky special year. But it really, seriously, Melissa, like, there's so many women that I meet that tell me, like, 1998 was, like, the year for them, and I had no idea. It was just like, this is when I was doing things. So this is a 14, maybe 15-year-old me sitting in the library of my school coding. This was probably at lunch or after school or something like that, but, like, there was a school photographer. She used to go around, and she's like, you're always on that computer. You're always, always there. What are you doing? And I told her that I was coding, and she was like, what's that? And it was just like, this wasn't, like, you couldn't just log online. I'm probably, like, on Netscape Navigator in this tiny browser, like, manipulating something with, like, a notepad open. Like, I mean, this right here was, like, a newspaper that I probably had handwritten code on. Like, it was a thing. Like, it was a task and a journey to, like, just code. Like, I would literally go sit for hours in Barnes & Noble, hand copying the code from books. Like, hand copying this. Like, I couldn't even afford, I'm in high schould like, I'm a, like, freshman or sophomore. I had no money for the 5-cent copy machine. I was like, I'm not doing this, I can write. Like, so I would hand copy the code from these books. Hand copying, Liz, just sitting there until, like, I would, like, leave school, after school, then I would go sit in the mall at the bookstore. And this is at the time where, like, bookstore wasn't chic and cool. Like, I was the only young person in there, the only girl in the computer, like, book aisle, and there's just, like, a whole bunch of dudes just sitting there, and I didn't even care. I was just like, I want to know how to change this ugly background with CSS. So that's how I began. So, as I said, I was a freshman in high school at the Boston Arts Academy. I thought I was going to be an architect or comic book artist. Life didn't happen that way. I love hip-hop. I still love hip-hop. I still love Prismacolor markers and sketchbooks and Adidas, of course. And that's my first, fourth, sketchbook. I don't know. But, yeah. So, hip-hop was my love, but then I fell in love with computers and code. So, getting online was a task back then. Like, I would tie up Cookie, that's my mom's name before Empire or whatever that show's called. She's the original Cookie. Like, I would tie up her phone line and she would be so mad at me, like, what is this girl doing? Like, why is she always on my phone? Like, why is all bling, 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 bling? Like, I used to have so many fake names just to get those AOL discs. Like, they used to send them. I was Charlisa, Chalisa, Talisha. Like, I would have all these names just to get those discs. And when I got the one that was like 1,000 hours, I was balling. I was up all night. I was balling in building. I was building the future, you know? So, yeah, so that is how the old Netscape Navigator looked. Google was just this new thing. And yeah, pretty much I only taught myself to code because of two things. I wanted to manipulate the background of my GeoCities and my Angel Fire page. And I at this point, I was using like Adobe something to make these animated GIFs where everyone was sparkly and going like this with a hat on. So that's pretty much what my page, I was like literally looking for an old page to show you guys because it had so much like scrolling marquees and these GIFs right here. So that's actually why I learned how to code. So I also should mention that I didn't even own a computer. Like at this point, someone had gave my mom an old computer that didn't work, and I vigorously was trying to figure out how to make this thing work. And I built my own tower. She would take me to Computer USA every weekend to buy pieces like for this tower that I would build with my own money that I was doing from working. So I finally got the computer to work at home, and that's how I was able to use those AOL discs. And then pretty much that's, again, I taught myself how to code. In just 1.5 years, I taught myself 6 programming languages because I was so determined. I was focused. I would do this at lunch, after school. My friends would be like, what are you doing? I'm like, coding. They're like, what's that? You don't understand. Like, no, and there was no group. There was no black girls code, no little girls code, nothing. There was nobody coding by me. It was just me. And I went to an art high school, so everyone's just like leaping and playing in the hallway. And I had paper shoes. I got leopard pants on right there. Like, I was doing the most. Like, I had purple hair, leopard pants. I was doing everything. So another philosophy, your passion will help draw you to your dreams, but your discipline will help make them a reality. So again, getting to those 6 programming languages in just 1.5 years, I was determined. I didn't think I was going to be like working in technology. I was just like, I didn't even know what that was. I was like, well, do I now work at Texas Instrument like after this? Like what can I do with these skills that I have? So in my mind, it wasn't even a real thing. It was just something I was good at. It was something I liked doing, and I never thought that I could make it a career. I didn't even know that like technology was a thing. It was just like something I'm using, and it was built for me. Like I had no idea. I was like mad in this circle. So with that being said, the determination, I dropped out of high school just 6 months away from my graduation. My mom was struggling really, really bad to provide for us. Like, I had 2 younger siblings, and I just looked at her just thinking to myself, I can do something. Like, what am I going to do? Like, she didn't even have hopes for me to go to college, but I also didn't tell her I dropped out of school. I silently dropped out, got a job making $25 an hour, just answering phones at, like, this agency in Boston. And so pretty much I made that money, but then I seen all of my friends graduate. I went to my prom, but I also seen all of my friends do the prom, the graduation, all of these things, and I just felt like, why did I do that? Like, I could still be there. So I ended up going back, and I got my GED like within a month because I still had all of that information fresh in my head. And I also I never seen college for myself. Like, I knew that I could be whatever, but I didn't think I have to get a degree to do that. But fast forward, I enrolled in college in 2004. I received my bachelor's degree. And that was a task because everyone told me, you dropped out of school, like you have a GED. All the colleges that you want to go to, they're not going to accept you. I was accepted by every single college I applied to, every single one. And then my dream school didn't offer me housing. So I was just like, how am I supposed to survive and live here? And I had no idea how to do all of this. Like, enrolling in school for me, my mom was just like, we don't have the money to pay for that. Like, just do something else, get a better job. And I was like, how can I get a better job if I don't have the degree? And I mean, I had skills, but they weren't being taken seriously because I had no degree. So at this point, I had all this coding experience, I had all of this other experience, and I still couldn't, like, that wasn't enough to build the future that I wanted. So I enrolled in school, but it wasn't even like a goal that I had for myself. And then finding the space that was right for me allowed me to continue on professionally. So, and then I continued on. I enrolled in a lot of CS classes, and I was the only woman, that's me all the way far in the back there. This is like after school. So it was like 3 people of color in this class that I'm in, but it was out of 90 students. So yeah, we were there after school just working and doing things. And then somehow I ended up at MIT. So you drop out, you have a GED, you're learning online, you end up at MIT. Life. So yeah, I kept going. This was my journey. So I started at the Boston Arts Academy. I got my GED from UCES. It's a community center program. Then I went on to the Art Institute. Then I studied a lot of stuff on Lynda when they first launched. Then I found myself just taking like an open course at MIT. I ended up being really integrated in the community. I met a dean, and she just encouraged me to apply to the Media Lab, and I did. And I was just like, whoa, I'm here. And from there, I just was like, I don't want to do any more school, but I still want to learn. So I went on to edX, and then I went on to Coursera, and then I went on to Boston University, where I finished my graduate degree. Then I continued more stuff through Code Academy, even though I knew most of the stuff. General Assembly, always, and Udacity. So pretty much, you can do anything if you have access to online. Like, if you can read, you can do anything. You can't be an airplane, but you can be anything. As long as you can read and you're passionate and you're driven, like, all of these things had combined had brought me to everywhere that I've been. She persisted. And then I found myself in Silicon Valley. And I looked around, and I was definitely the only me. The only me with my blonde Beyonce hair, the only me with my fly Adidas on, the only me with my bedazzled nails coding. And I often wear all black. Like I was saying last night at our dinner, I had on a black shirt, and I was just like, when I would go to these Ruby meetups, they would be like, is there more beer left? Is there pizza? And I'm just like, why are you asking me? I'm coding like you. Oh, you think I'm not working this. So the discrimination was real, like, and sometimes you don't know if I don't ever feel like it was intentional there, but it was just like the assumptions were so real because I'm a woman of color, I'm a woman, and I'm in this space that's dominated by all white men at that time. This is like 2013, 2012. So my journey led me to some really cool companies. I ended up Apple, Cengage Learning, the Broad Institute, Viacom. There's way more companies. I just couldn't fit a lot on here, but I want to highlight the cool ones, not the ones that was crappy and racist and sexist. So, yeah. So, crappy, racist, and sexist. So, as an intersectional woman, this is not a crappy, racist, and sexist job. I survived these environments, but I survived them because I hoped for better. Like, I didn't come in there wanting, like, with this angry mentality of, like, oh, we've been wrong, we've been pushed out. And I also still didn't feel like I had anything to prove. I was badass, and I would just come in there, and they'd be like, oh, are you the designer? Are you the intern? Or I'm the boss. Like, so, but it actually wasn't always comforting, like, to be the only you in that space, the only you, looking like you. And there were times where, you know, I didn't know what it was then, felt the imposter syndrome. Like, I was working at one company, I had 8 years experience already, and they wanted to hire a man who was still in college to be my manager and offered him 3 times more than what I was making. So it's situations like that where it made me feel like I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm only here to be their face of diversity or whatever it is, and it started to make me angry, but I knew I don't know, I felt like I could do something about that. And like I said, and there was the diversity thing, so I'm the only me in this space. There was 3 women on my team, but I'm leading this dev team, and I'm the only one looking like how I look. And oftentimes, they would second-check my work with my previous male predecessor to ensure that it was the right thing, and even when he would confirm, they would still be in disbelief. So that just made me work harder, be more empathetic rather than bitter, and just do better. So I decided to fly. No, I decided to use my tech skills to like really make a change. Like I decided I was offered another opportunity like Huda. It was for another large Fortune 500, but all the ones that I was at in Silicon Valley just wanted me to come in and be their diversity whisperer. And I said, this is not what I'm going to do. I didn't go to school for this. You don't pay me for this. I'm not doing this. And this is before diversity and inclusion was a thing. So they just would have someone come in like, okay, we alleviated that. We quarantined that fire. We put that out by adding a black or a woman. Like, so, and I don't mean to offend anyone, but I'm not racially sensitive. So I'm sorry if I say that word and it offends anyone in here. I really am. But so I decided to use my skills to make a change because I knew that I can complain about these companies being toxic, I can stay in them, I can make all this money, and like when you walk away from 6 figures to build something, you're like, I might have made the wrong decision. I could have dealt with that like hostile environment a little bit longer, but you couldn't. Like, why would you do that? Like, there were so many times that like as a founder, I would just be, at this time I had my hair shaved on both sides, but like if I had any more hair, I would have been pulling it out because I was so angry and stressed about like raising money and discrimination and passionate about seeing women in this space. And I just knew that I could make a change. So in November 2015, I built and launched FlyTechnista, which is an online portal that helps bridge the gap between women and girls in access to education, employment, and entrepreneurship opportunities. And then I created an initiative, STEAMnista, which was both of these initiatives were in partnership with the White House in 2016, and we just did a lot of amazing things through that. So my journey led me to building these 2 companies just to provide more diverse work environments. So I was in a space where I didn't see a lot of me. So naturally, how I am, I was at a tech conference, and I was like the only woman invited to all of this stuff. So every single woman that I met, I would just say, hey, come with me. Oh, I got an extra ticket, or I got an extra pass. And before you know it, like we have a table of 20 women where it was only just 4 in the room. And I'm just always like, bring your girl, bring your friend, bring your ally, bring your homie, bring everybody. So, and before they knew it, it was just a diverse environment. They're like, wow, they did such a good job with diversity. No, they didn't, I did. But like, so I built and launched this product to, like I said, to see more me's and we's in the room. Like, it's easy to feel like when you're the only, that's lonely. But then most jobs, in companies, they make it that it's not enough room for more than 1 woman. If there's 1 woman in leadership, we can't have 2. If there's 1 person of color, we can't have 2. So I really wanted to just disrupt that mentality and that idea that because of where I am or what I'm doing, that there's not enough room for you. There's enough room for you, for someone else, for your friend, for your daughter, there's enough room. And that's not to push men out, but like, it doesn't take anything away from you by providing opportunity to someone else. So literally after I left Silicon Valley, the whole reason why this happened was because every single company that I left, teams that I worked with, they would reach out to me and say, hey, would you want to just do some freelance remote stuff? Would you want to just work on this quick contract project? Would you want to do just that? All these things. And I just was like, I know another woman who can do this job. Can I give you an intro? So that started to happen. And before they knew it, they felt confident with my referrals to them, and then they trusted me. And then I had all of these jobs just in my email all the time, and I would just think of people in my network, oh, she's good at this, oh, she would love something like that, or she can fit. And I just became really good at connecting the dots there for them. And then I realized I needed an actual portal to do that, so I built it. There wasn't one, there wasn't a space where, and then I kept meeting women who would tell me they wanted to learn tech or digital skills, but they're not a coder. And it's just like, I realized that even as women in tech, sometimes we exclude other women from tech, determining how technical they are. It's like, oh, well, you're not a coder, so you're not really in tech. You do design, or you do product, or you do marketing. And it's just like, all of these products don't build themselves. Like, you need a designer, you need a person to market it, you need a person to push it, you need testers, you need someone who can do sales, like, all of these things, like, it might not be at the core technical, but, like, you're still a woman in tech, and I felt like I wanted to unify us more than divide us, so that's why I made sure that we covered everything across development, design, digital, and data, because I believe that these are the skills of the future, and if we exclude ourselves from participating in the digital economy, then we essentially remove ourselves from the digital history. And that's an important thing to me. When you think of history being told, history is often told from the side of the victors, not the losers, ever. Like, you're never going to hear the losers say, well, our guns jammed. Well, I had dirt in my eye. Like, you're just not going to hear, you're not going to hear these stories. So that's the same way that I view women participating in the digital economy. If women and people of color are not participating in this space, then we're going to be removed from the digital history. And that's why it became so important for me to advocate and fight and roundhouse kick that glass ceiling so that we could be here. So yeah, after doing all the work that I was doing, I was recognized by the White House 3 times. Both FlyTechnista and STEAMnista participated in the CS for All. And in just 2 years, we've empowered, engaged, and employed more than 8,000 women and girls in technology. So that's across 12 cities, 2 countries, and still growing. And I mean, I did all of this bootstrapped, and every day was like, and that's where you can see my hair was shaved then. I was just like, oh my God, if I had any more hair, I'd be pulling it out. Like, it was so stressful. It was so stressful because nobody wants to fight this fight with you. It's just like, just because I'm pro-women doesn't mean that I'm anti-men. Like, every single thing that I had in my life, the reason why I'm here is because of my male allies too. Like, and I know that that's a cool thing to say now, but like, I started ally movements in the States. Like, that's what I do. Like, every single thing I do is like, all the women that were employed, those 8,000 women and girls employed and educated, all of my biggest clients came from the bro startups. They was just like, we just don't know if we can retain women. We don't know how to talk to them. We don't know, like, it was like, what do you mean? Like, but like, they've become my biggest and best supporters because they've seen with our retention and engagement strategies that they can have positive relationships, they can build diverse workforces, and they can retain the women that they get. So a lot of that comes from like just not having interactions with different kinds of communities. So giving them exposure to that with the tools to succeed, we've helped them build diverse workforces. So, and yeah, my journey, like again, I'm a dropout and all of these things and made it to school and met my idol, Megan Smith, the former CTO of the White House, and she's just so badass. I love Megan Smith. And I pay it forward by, you know, I knew that I had to put my actions behind my words. Like, every single thing that I did, even before I started FlyTechnista, I've been a mentor to most of these girls at the Lower East Side Girls Club for 9 years. And even the ones who weren't interested in technology or STEM, I've engaged them by helping them. I taught them how to create LED name chains, and they learned how to program, like doing cool, innovative things that can help girls who don't see themselves in this space identify through those kinds of projects. So I will just say this, someone might have more advantage than you, but you can have more determination than them and get farther than they could ever get. So I don't come from like an academic or intellectual family. Well, they're smart, but you know, they're not school educated, really. And I don't come from professionals. Like, I don't come from wealth. I don't come from any of these things. And I was still able to rise and do all of the things that I wanted to do, back to my mom telling me that I can be this breakdancing astronaut, but also because I was determined. Like, it didn't matter what I went through in my life, I would just keep going, keep going, keep going, and do it with a smile because I knew that it couldn't be like that forever. So I ended up being invited to Windsor Castle, lived there for 9 days while the Queen was there, because I was passionate about really being inclusive, really supporting globally our global tech ecosystem and our entrepreneur tech ecosystem. And then I found myself like just having the best time with my 20 fellows at the Ariane de Rothschild Fellowship. And it was just amazing. Like, I wanted to create solutions to help Syrian refugees gain digital skills. And I was invited to be there because of that. And like, I had no idea that I would even, in my life as a dropout, be able to create an initiative to do that. Then I found myself getting an award at the end of December with all of these amazing people. I don't know if you know any of them in there, but that's like Alex Weck next to me. She's like a famous supermodel. And Maya Azucena, she's an amazing Grammy-nominated singer. And Malik Yoba, he's been like on everything, like Cool Runnings, like New York Undercover if you're old school. He does a lot of things, and he's an activist in the community. And it was such an honor to receive that because 2017 was such a hard year. I was faced with so many no's, like everything I went to. And then finally I got this email from a huge venture company inviting me out to the Bay Area, like, we want to invest in you. I was like, me? Like, for real? Like, I didn't do all this work, but so yeah, I closed out the end of the year pretty good, started off the top of the year pretty good. And I did all of this because I'm committed to empowering all women. Like, we're here at International Women's Day, and it feels like the only time, like Huda said, that other women are being acknowledged is during this time, but I make sure I commit every 365, 366, not to just women who I like, who look like me, who come from my same background, who come from my same economic, educational, whatever it is. I feel like if I'm not going to be explicit with my support, then I'm essentially, I'm excluding. So that's why I'm explicit with my support rather than exclusionary, and I'm just committed to doing that. So when one woman rises, we all rise. We really, really do. So, so I just want to leave you guys with 3 things: hustle with heart, grind with integrity, and practice gratitude daily. So Ariane Huffington released an article a few days ago about, it was a scientific study about what separates successful people from the rest. And this is scientifically proven. People who are grateful tend to be more successful. So whatever you're doing, whatever you have, whatever you don't have, whatever you've been through, whatever you're going through, whatever bullshit your job, your company, your life is throwing at you, I'm not saying be grateful for it, but like practice gratitude and find joy within yourself, because like that really does carry you through. And when I say gratitude carried me through, not just like the tech discrimination, there's so much slides I left out of here because that's for my TED Talk, but like I survived homelessness, I lived on the E-train, coding, and gratitude kept me hopeful. So like that's a real thing. And thank you.
1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2.